Good morning. You thought you were going to start, but I just jumped in front of you.
You're faster.
Yeah, look at you.
How are you today, Scott?
I'm doing pretty good.
We're just along for the
Cold.
ride. This is
cold.
Dylan's podcast.
My podcast?
Yeah, it's the Dillon Vogt show.
I don't know. That's all weather.
All
okay, we can
weather
make it
all
all
the
weather.
time. That's what we
we
love.
can leave and you can just do it
All right, see you guys.
Bye.
All right, hey guys. I got it from here on. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
You have to
You
do
don't
your
have-
thing. Do your
I have to
thing.
bring the camera up.
Yeah, you have to bring the camera. That's true,
I was like,
too.
you step forward. You're like, oops, not my setup here. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, January 25th. Of course, live on Facebook right now. You can watch it anytime on your feed. Also on your favorite podcast platform. Just go to inforum.com/podcast or watch us on our InForum YouTube channel. And we want to get right to the weather because today you're feeling a difference out there. Your cheeks are not as rosy as they were this morning on First News.
It was so painful. The wind was howling. I was freezing cold.
You could hear it.
Yeah, it was
Might
cold. It was cold, and it sounds worse than it hears.
What?
It feels worse than what it hears.
Are you still
Sounds-
frozen?
You know, I still am frozen. My brain is still frozen up there. It just feels, it's cold outside, okay? It's the coldest
There you
morning
go.
this in January so far. It is. The wind has a bite to it. And of course, it's caused a couple drifts over roads, and there's ice in some spots. I'm not going to go and say that all roads are slippery, because they're not. But those scattered slippery spots, that's where people are, you know, a couple accidents, minor accidents, had a couple rollovers, we talked about overnight last night. So with that wind continuing to blow through the morning and, of course, blowing the snow over the road, those roads aren't going to warm up, and plows can't get that ice off. So it's like it's slippery everywhere, but there are a lot of slick spots out there that kind of creep up on you.
Sure.
So cold day today, high temperature of 7. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It was nice, like, not that many days
I know.
ago.
I
For
know.
several weeks
Yeah.
in January. I've been like, January's not so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't
Just
say
kidding.
that. And then
It's my fault. I jinxed us.
it's your fault. It's all Lisa's fault.
oh,
And then it will warm up tomorrow and Friday, early Friday, before things start to go downhill, and then we never see anything good for the rest of January. I don't even know. It's gonna
It's all
suck.
downhill.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold next week. Temperature
Fair
is well
enough.
below 0, and it's gonna be what January is. You
Yeah.
said it. It was
Yeah.
a warm January, and then you said it's been too warm of a January. And guess what we get? Blame it all on Lisa, everyone.
You get what you ask
I'm
for.
kidding. Don't blame it on her. Okay, that's it. Well, a little bit of snow actually Thursday into Friday too. I should add that. That comes before the cool down.
Okay.
It's probably the best punch of these clipper systems we've had all week.
sure.
So that's something to watch. Friday morning commute will probably be a little tricky, and even Thursday evening. So, okay, a lot of weather. It's cold outside. Bundle up. Even those 30 seconds from your car to your office or car to the grocery store, whatever it is, it's cold. It's
Yeah.
cold.
It's
Okay.
cold.
Cold is the
Cold.
story of the
That's
day.
the message.
All
All right,
right.
Dylan.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Dylan actually already mentioned this, but we are covering some breaking news. A couple of car accidents we want to tell you about, probably connected, at least in part, to icy roads,
Yeah.
at least how they ended. A crash off of I-29 near the 19th Street, near 19th Street, left one car flipped over. We did get some video of it, like shortly after it happened, and we could see it just on its roof. We know several crews responded, fire and police were on the scene. We're trying to find out if anyone was hurt. WDAY is working to learn what led up to that crash. 2 different crashes, so one overnight, another one a couple hours later, just in that same area of I-29, not far off from 19th Avenue. We have a feeling there might be a few other details coming out of the first accident, possibly, that we're working on. We have several calls into law enforcement, and of course that second one, it didn't look good as far as the video that our first news photographer Travis got. It was
We're also working to learn if there's any injuries. We haven't heard any word on that. So we do know 2 cars in the ditch, though. We do know the roads aren't great. So just make sure you're taking it slow out there, giving yourself extra time, and giving yourself extra space between vehicles, all that good stuff. All right, let's talk about Horace, the city of Horace. City leaders there are facing some backlash this morning after they voted to pause a tax abatement program for at least 6 months. The program is one that gives new homeowners a 2-year property tax break. So now those people that are going to be buying a home in Horace will not be able to apply for that. The decision comes after the previous abatement program expires, which it does every 2 years. However, the council will be allowing people who bought a home in 2021 or received building permits in 2022 to still apply for that program. But some people are pretty concerned, including real estate agents and people that live in that community, that it could stop people from wanting to move to Horace.
And this is a hot topic right now in the North Dakota legislature. We're hearing now that tensions are rising right now between some North Dakota lawmakers. after new details on 2 bills are coming out that would target transgender girls and women in the state. Those bills would restrict transgender women from competing in any K through 12 or college sports. Supporters say that the proposals maintain fairness in women's sports, but those against it say the bills are harmful and discriminatory towards transgender people. If you recall, we covered this a lot here on WDAY. Rules surrounding transgender women in sports have already been made in both the state and the NCAA. Those changes say that people who have transitioned into women are essentially banned from competing unless the school can prove through medical evidence that the athlete has no physical competitive advantage. Lawmakers here plan to meet again to discuss the future of those bills after they're done hearing testimony from other bills on their agenda. So stay tuned. We're going to continue to track that for you.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, today in East Grand Forks, council members are debating a request to allow people to keep chickens within city limits. According to the city's zoning ordinance, only residents with 2 or more acres of land are currently allowed to keep livestock. Arguments have been made about the rising cost of food. We've all seen that at the grocery store. Specifically with eggs, they have really gone up. So they're kind of arguing that if you have chickens at your residence, that you could save on grocery costs in this whole thing. But right now, several city councilors are against this move.
Okay, that's interesting. A lot of people are kind of excited about this. It's just a proposal at this point, but a $65 billion 2-year budget from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz would include checks mailed directly to some people who live in the state of Minnesota. Walz wants to use part of the state's more than $17 billion surplus to give $1,000 checks to single filers who make less than $75,000 a year, $2,000 for families with a combined income of less than $150,000 a year, and up to $200 for each dependent, which would be capped at 3. Sounds a lot like the surplus or the stimulus money.
Yeah, very similar.
That a lot of people got during the pandemic. Anyway, so that's still being debated. A final piece of the budget that Walz is proposing also includes more than $8 billion in tax cuts for Minnesota.
All right, on the national scale this morning, we're tracking also weather. January tornadoes actually hitting parts of the south, while heavy snow hits the north. Overnight severe storms slammed the south from Texas into southern Louisiana. Then, let's see here. The National Weather Service reported that there was likely a water spout that formed over a lake in Louisiana. That then moved onto the shore around midnight. That same storm system caused extensive damage in Texas, tearing apart homes, businesses in the Houston suburb of Pasadena. The powerful winds also causing damage in Houston. And the mayor there tweeting that a wastewater facility suffered significant damage, but is thankfully still functioning. But we saw some video of it this morning. Quite a bit of damage across the south.
Devastating for sure. And like Lydia mentioned to us on First News this morning, once the sun comes up and they're able to survey the area, we're probably going to learn a lot more about some of those overnight tornadoes and just more devastation. Hopefully not more injuries, but we'll keep you posted. Okay, Hot Mic with Dom Izzo is on from 9 to 11 this morning. Also on InForum.com. I ran home yesterday because I heard he was interviewing Cordell Volson with the Bengals, former Bison football player. So I've not watched it yet, but I know he had it on Hot Mic yesterday morning. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm just excited about all of the guests that he's been having on lately and breaking things down. I know they're talking a lot about, when I was watching Bison basketball yesterday, that big NDSU UND basketball game coming up Friday. So every day he has great guests. You don't want to miss it. And if you have to miss it, then you have to go home and record it like I did. And then no spoiler alert here on that one. So join Dom Izzo from 9 to 11 this morning.
Perfect. That's on WDAY Extra and InForum.com. So also for 99 cents a month, you can get a subscription to InForum.com. For your first 3 months, it's going to be 99 cents, which is a great deal. You get access to Hot Mic, all sports stories, local headlines, local weather. So take advantage of that. We don't know when that deal is going to end.
And newscasts throughout the day. I know Dylan does a national forecast, so he's probably going to talk about all that crazy weather right now today at 11. And then be sure to join us again this afternoon, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 for more local and national news on WDAY.
Perfect. And then join us again tomorrow morning from 5 to 7 in the morning for First News.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.